Alright, welcome to part 4 of the chess projects. In this tutorial we're going to get the queen going here. We have done the other 3 chess pieces here. We got the bishop layer. On its own layer we have the rook and the pawn. So now it's time for the queen. And I've already created the revolve because we've kind of gone through this process before. But you can see here I've kind of lined it up where I use the path of the curve and then the revolve. I had to reverse the normals again. And pretty much that's where I left off, and then I added some edge loops to add some extra detail. But pretty much if I type number 3 for smooth shading, you can kind of see what I got going on here. So let's bring it back to 1. What we're going to do is I have these spheres for the top already in here. I'm going to go over that in a sec, but first we're going to create these little sort of the crown part here, the little top. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to go into face mode and basically select every other face here. So I'm just holding the shift key and selecting every other face. And the way I got this top was basically, again, just by looking at that profile and using that curve starting from the center inwards up and then going over like that. So basically that's how I kind of just went up like that and ignored the round parts, because these little parts are going to create with a sphere. So I have all these other faces selected, and basically I can extrude by going to my modeling toolkit here and click on the extrude tool here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a little bit, something like that. It doesn't have to go out that much, 0.43. And then I'm going to do extrude one more time, and this time I'm just going to go up just a smidge, something like that, and then click on the blue cube and then click on the center cube and kind of scale them in like that. So all of them will be kind of scaled in. So when we hit the number 3 key for smooth preview, we kind of see we get that effect, which looks pretty close to what we have there. It's a little bit, maybe a tiny bit sharper. So if we want to add some sharpness to this, we could add a few edge loops in here. So again, that's under the mesh tools, insert edge loop tool. There it is, and I already have a hotkey set up for it. So again, I can click on my custom shelf here, and I'm going to double click on it. Just make sure relative distance is select to edge, and then now I can start adding some detail in here if I want. So I'm thinking I might just click on the outside ring here and kind of add an edge loop around there. I don't want to go in too far, and then I kind of want to do one on the inside, but again, not too far. Let's hit number 3 and see what that does. I mean, that kind of gives me a little bit more shape to these guys, but still keeps it soft around. I probably don't want to add any more edge loops than that. That's pretty much as far as I want to go with this. I'm going to go back to object mode on here, and then I'll hit number 1 to kind of bring it back to shaded solid. So, or non-smooth preview, I mean. So let's bring these spheres back. I have 3 little spheres here. I'm going to hit Shift H. If you hit H, you hide things. So what I've done here is I basically scaled in a sphere, and then I just duplicated it a couple of times, and with each one I've kind of scaled it down, and then I squish it down. So we'll do one more for the third one. I'll kind of zoom in here on my side view here. So with this one selected, I will hit Control D and then bring it up, and then I have to scale it down. So if I hit R for scale and then grab that little yellow cube, I can kind of scale it down a little bit. And then all I did for these little guys, and this one is kind of already flattened out, but then I just grabbed the green cube to kind of squish it. So instead of that way, I kind of went down like that, just to give that squish feel, and then just make sure they're kind of attached. And pretty much that'll finish it. Now, we do have an issue with this large sphere here. I don't need this whole thing. So if we go into the side view here, again, I only need it to pierce the geometry. So about here is where I can remove it. So I'm going to go into face mode and basically select all of these bottom faces here and then just delete them. And then check the geometry to see if it's hidden inside. And yep, there it is. It looks like it's good. It looks like it's inside. So, and then if I want to, I can hit 3 on each of these to smooth them out a little bit more. Just by hitting the 3 key. And there we go. So now we have our queen done. Looks pretty cool. So next tutorial, I think we'll do the king, and then we'll save the knight for the last tutorial. So until next time, see you soon in Autodesk Maya. Cheers!